As we told you earlier in the show, the Lane Kiffin saga has reached a conclusion. After 6 seasons at Ole Miss, Kiffin is leaving the program for LSU effective immediately. While the exit was far from cordial, the Lane train left a lasting impact up in Oxford.
So with that, I couldn't be more excited to introduce our newest Rebel, your new head football coach, Lane Kiffin.
What began as a second chance in the SEC for Lane Kiffin turned into one of the greatest stretches in the history of Ole Miss football. When Kiffin accepted the job in December of 2019, no one could have dreamed what the next 6 years had in store.
And Ole Miss on the road, a 31-21 winner in the Egg Bowl. Lane Kiffin and his team improved to 11-2. They are the champions of the 2023 Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
Following a 5-5 season riddled by the pandemic in 2020, Kiffin architected just the third 10-win season at Ole Miss since the turn of the century. In 2022, the Rebels won 8 games, but rumors surfaced about the Lane train departing for Auburn.
So then we get to this potential Lane Kiffin from Ole Miss to Auburn situation.
How would you feel if he takes the Auburn job after what he's been doing on social media?
I think he's going to.
However, Kiffin stayed in Oxford and began to make healthier life decisions while embracing his role as a father.
Guys, there's not a day that don't go by that I'm not grateful for Oxford, for Ole Miss, especially with Landry here, as you guys know. And as you get older, you're never going to be able to replace that time with your children.
For the first time in years, Lane was genuinely happy. In 2023, Kiffin led Ole Miss to its first 11-win season in program history, capped off by a New Year's Six Bowl win over Penn State in the Peach Bowl.
Just really pleased to be part of that, very grateful for our staff, for our leadership here and our players, and they've done amazing, to win 10 games to the last 3 seasons.
Sitting at number 6 in the 2024 preseason poll, the Rebels entered the season with high expectations and manufactured the third 10-win season in 4 years, the first time accomplishing the feat since the early 1960s. But Ole Miss failed to make the college football playoffs, and many expected the 2025 season to be a rebuilding year. They couldn't have been more wrong.
On 4th and 3, it's right, and he's wide open. He should just go down in bounds, and he does. Great call, Greg, and great call by Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr. 20 yards to put the game away. Ole Miss has its first win on the road against a ranked conference opponent under Lane Kiffin.
Kiffin once again navigated the transfer portal, finding Keywan Lacey, who set the single-season program record for rushing touchdowns, and turned Division II quarterback Trinidad Chambliss into one of the top offensive producers in the SEC.
You can't get a better story than Trinidad. You guys in Division II playing in front of 500 people, and today he goes for 359 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, no sacks, and some critical runs in a rivalry game.
Ole Miss made history once again, tallying a program record 11 regular season wins, punching its ticket to the college football playoffs for the first time in program history.
First 11-win regular season in the history of Ole Miss football. Their second overall season in the last 3 years with 11 wins.
And now Lane Kiffin is gone. Not only is he leaving in the midst of the greatest season in the history of the Rebels program, he is giving up an opportunity to solidify his legacy with a chance to compete for a national championship at Ole Miss, exiting for one of its fiercest rivals.
The sentiment here in Oxford, Mississippi right now is that Kiffin's unwillingness to commit is an indicator of his desire to go.
In the end, Kiffin is heading to the Bayou, looking to create a new chapter in one of the most fertile recruiting grounds in the nation.
The Arizona Cardinals select Tyrann Mathieu.
The Jacksonville Jaguars select Leonard Fournette. The Cincinnati Bengals select Jamar Chase.
He now has the opportunity to etch his name as the 5th head coach to bring a national title to LSU, a list that includes one of the most influential people in his life, Nick Saban.
LSU wins the BCS National Championship.
But if he fails, the decision to depart Oxford will haunt him forever. All aboard the Lane train. Next stop, Baton Rouge. After a wild morning in Oxford, Kiffin has made his way to Baton Rouge. 2 planes made the short flight to North Mississippi to pick up Kiffin, his family, and some staffers, including offensive coordinator Charlie Weiss Jr. After both planes landed in Baton Rouge, a caravan took Kiffin to the facility where he has begun to assemble his staff. The new LSU head coach will be formally introduced tomorrow afternoon in Baton Rouge. As we told you earlier, Ole Miss has named defensive coordinator Pete Golding as Lane Kiffin's successor. A 4-year starter at Delta State, Golding began his coaching career as a grad assistant at his alma mater. From 2006 to 2013, the Hammond, Louisiana native also coached at Southeastern Louisiana and Tusculum. In 2014, Golding was hired by Southern Miss to coach the safeties room and spent 2 years in Hattiesburg before taking over as the defensive coordinator at UTSA. In 2018, Nick Saban came calling, hiring Golding as the Crimson Tide's defensive coordinator, a role he thrived in for 5 years. But Pete wanted to get back to Mississippi, and in 2023, he joined Ole Miss in the same capacity before getting his first head coaching gig this afternoon. Turning our attention to the NFL now. The New Orleans Saints battling the Miami Dolphins down at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens on Sunday. New Orleans trying to avoid its 10th loss of the season. We'll pick things up on the game's opening drive. Devon Achane takes the pitch. Saints unable to seal the edge. He gone 29 yards to the crib to give the Dolphins an early 7-0 lead. Fast forward to just over a minute to play before the halftime break. Saints trailing 13-0. Tyler Shuck is picked off by Rasul Douglas. Miami would settle for a field goal, and they take a 16-point lead into the halftime break. The Saints offense, though, they would come out of the half with vengeance. Shuck navigates the pocket here, on the move, floats it up for Chris Olave. Touchdown Saints. They would convert the 2-point conversion to move to within 8. Following a Riley Patterson field goal for the Dolphins, Charlie Smith attempted his first career field goal, and that's good from 56 yards out. The Irishman probably would have made that from 70+ there. That brings the Saints back to within a score. Inside of the 2-minute warning, Shuck works to his right, lofts it to the back of the end zone, completes it to Devon Vele for the tutty. Saints going for 2 here, looking to tie it up, but Shuck's pass is intercepted by Minkah Fitzpatrick, who takes it all the way back for 2 points of his own. But the Saints would recover the ensuing onside kick, however could not capitalize as they fall to 2-10 on the season.
Obviously, really good game of back-and-forth football. I loved our guys' resiliency, their way to battle and keep sticking into it, and thought all 3 phases came up with some plays as the game went on, and so ultimately we didn't do enough. We didn't get it done at the very end.
It's almost satirical at this point, but the loss for the Saints means that they are now eliminated from playoff contention officially. 2-10, not a great start there, but no one's talking about the Saints really right now. Now, Lane Kiffin heading to Baton Rouge. He will be formally introduced just after 3 p.m. Central Time tomorrow over there at the campus of LSU. I've been told that Pete Golding most likely will have a press conference, nothing official, but most likely will have a press conference on Tuesday up in Oxford. Of course, Ole Miss, they've got the biggest game in the history of their program still on the horizon.